Lessons in Love. A TV station is threatening to reveal the details of your unusual high school romance. Honey, apparently they won't leave you alone until they've gnawed every bone clean. Shocks News has a new Shelley show coming up. The creep said that your high school sweetheart would be the next guest and that the racy details of your relationship would, I quote, shake America to its core. You might think she's just another silly gossip who no one would imagine could hurt us. But Shelley Shaw has absolutely no brakes, no sense of tact, and the conscience of a snake. She made her millions digging through celebrities' dirty laundry. All the ugliest sex scandals of the past decade are her doing. Do you remember that interview with Senator Woods Gardner, who the politician allegedly molested? People love gossip, and the crazier the story, the higher Shelley Shaw's ratings. So I suggest we reassure ourselves and find out the name of this guest. Might be able to approach Shaw herself, but we'll probably have to take a more subtle approach than that. Okay, so... we have to be above 75% for Sasha? We're still paying her? Maybe Andre and Alta? Deception, journalists, maybe. Behind the scenes negotiations. Let's try 10. 10. Darling, I try to find out all we can from Shaw herself first. She's careful about the secrecy of her guests, even keeps it from her team until the broadcast. The old witch has never been caught taking bribes or even showing any prejudice. She's equally happy to humiliate politicians of all stripes and people of all colors and creeds. But I hear Shaw has changed recently. After 27 years of a seemingly perfect marriage, her husband left her for a young college girl. Now she's at every party, and she's better at ruining people's lives than she is at holding her liquor. I know I sound like a typical resentful woman, but we can take advantage of the situation. Not with these two! Oh yes, I forgot to mention, the old witch likes to do things the old-fashioned way, heartfelt and in person. I wouldn't count on finding anything in her technology, or as Shaw puts it, trust no one, even your smartphones. Well, I think I picked the wrong two people for this. How do we find out what skeleton Shelley Shaw has in her closet? Analyze the video announcement of the show, determine who the guest might be. Break into Shelley's assistant schedule. Set up a fake online dating account. Trick Shelley into compromising herself. Blackmail her for the guest's name. Talk to Shelley's team and try to get the name of the guests. Holy shit, 3 and 4. Seduce Shelley at the party and find out her guest name. Do it, 10! Sir, I did what I could, but these kinds of negotiations are not my strong suit. The last time I was on a real date was about 8 years ago, if memory serves. I was probably not exactly Miss Shaw's type. She didn't seem to notice my advances. The lady left the party with a nice young man. He couldn't have been your schoolboy sweetheart. He was too young. Let's bring in a ringer. Joe? Maybe Sophie could do something? Let's try Sophie. Work on my day off? I'll be right over, but I have to warn you that I'm at a blogger's party. My friends will notice I'm gone and they'll write all about the crunch culture at the White House. Are you sure that's a good idea? You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and let this go. I'm aborting. Honey, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. The Shelley show is out and the guests and your first love is your old school teacher, Mrs. Herman. The sweetest old dear, she's looking great for 78. I doubt anyone took her story seriously, but now the whole country is joking about how old I might be. Surprisingly, I expected a much stronger reaction. The old lady's story was so sympathetic that all the angry tongues in America just withered away. Not bad. Have you ever been in love? YouTube comment section. Have you ever been in love? There's nothing like a relationship with a good woman. No, you're right. Too much love can lead to a personality disorder. If you have never been in love, you should try it right away. America needs more children. We'll put them to good use. What? What is this? I'd never lie down with a man whose face looked like that. Look at yourself first, smart guy. Waiting for the president Ellie's firstborn, or is it too late? What? Man, we got dissed hard. Whoa, our ratings went up though. The president was a real prodigy. At age 12, he had a heady affair with his English teacher, Rita Herman, who was going through her toughest divorce yet. True or not, this remarkable story of the spiritual connection between the boy and the woman, as told by the charming old lady on The Shelley Show, is fated to become the basis for a host of dramatic films and a series on binge flicks. All right, well, Tien, you tried, buddy. You'll get to go on vacation. Anthony Rose back. I see you followed Congress's example and swapped your suit for your favorite t-shirt. You've got to admit, it's a lot more comfortable on a hot summer day. By the way, the press seems pretty positive about the whole thing. When things get hot, the president puts his people first. I really appreciate this. Irene Gaber, founder at Donut Tower. Mr. President, the White House's annual event for top-ranking football teams is coming up, and Donut Tower would like to make the main dish for the guests of honor. Here's what we're thinking. It's going to be a big brown football-shaped donut. We'll deliver it free of charge, and we'll even throw in a little bonus for you. Deal? Yes! Valentin Diaz Escudero, President of Mexico. Mr. President, another wave of migrants from Central America has overwhelmed our borders. The Suchiate is absolutely packed. The entire river is full of rubber boats stuffed with Guatemalans. We had to call in the National Guard, but they're still struggling to stem the tide. As you know, these hordes of people are making a mad dash to Mexico in order to reach the United States. Therefore, I must ask for your assistance. Can you send us some border patrol officers? I don't remember what. Yes? Darling, I feel like I found a promising lead in Georgia. And as always, there's a catch. I will be honest, you will be surprised when I finally tell you who I would like you to support. But at the same time, the choice will be obvious. Expect more news from me soon. Is it her? So we're not going to help our ex-wife, I believe, right? Yeah, security guard. And I don't have a good security guard. Convince. Sophie? Persuasion. We need persuasion. Shit. We'll tire Tien out. Tien and Sophie. What do we know about Mike? He's never been married. He still lives in his attic at his mother's house. And his only joy in life is a Friday night beer at the Goose Bar. Aside from his scholarly articles, he's written over 100. And unfortunately, judging by his looks, he's written a few hundred more on the side. A nice jacket means more to a regular voter than 3 PhDs in credit risk modeling. And dear, Mike is a good man, so try not to offend him. If he hasn't given up on his politics for 20 years, he won't suddenly change his mind in a day. You only have one shot at doing this right. Okay, Sophie, what you got? Ask the owner of the YouTube channel Celebrity Makeover to do an episode with Mike. Come on to Mike at the bar and give him some fashion advice. Well, we could try the first one. If that doesn't work, we'll try the second one. What does Ken do? Ask Mike's mom to buy him some new clothes and take him to a good barber. Have a drink with Mike at the Goose Bar and convince him to accept the help of a stylist. Let's try this. Sir, Tim and Linda were reluctant to do an episode on an unknown loser politician, but then they took one look at Rybakov's photo. They waved their hands in the air and said something about the vow of the stylist and how it was their duty. Mike agreed to come on the show, of course. Even Senator Woods was a guest one week. And as a matter of fact, the show featuring our congressman already has 3 times as many views as his. This is the most incredible transformation America has ever seen. Tim and Linda have literally turned an ugly duckling into a beautiful, sexy swan. Would you give me his number, sir? Perfect. Honey, have you seen our candidate, Mike? I don't know how the Sand editorial jerks do it, but his photo has already become their discovery of the week. It's amazing what was hiding under Mike's unassuming shell. I'm sure his campaign will pick up steam now. Yes, we get to read a post. It's no good being shaggy. I can recommend a good psychologist. It doesn't make any sense already. We can't fight this scourge. Kiss us all. That doesn't make any sense. That whole problem there is a little far-fetched. Lol, have you seen yourself in the mirror, dipshit? Lucky go. I make my own shoes and clothes. It's more reliable. It's more reliable. Hello, Mr. President. Don't you recognize me? It's me, your old friend, Mike Rybakov. I have a confession to make. You and Ellie were right the other day in the library. I should have agreed to change my image there and then. Oh well, live and learn, as they say. My life has completely changed. I got my very first latte with a heart in the foam. Men nod at me in the elevators, and women have stopped pretending to look right through me. They listened to my campaign proposals all the way through at the meeting. And a nice woman in a sundress even stayed after to ask me some questions. What can I say? I've always campaigned in the shackles of an unattractive figure. Now I finally realize that Congress is not my true destiny. Rybakov 2024. What do you think? Not a bad start for my future presidential campaign. I feel like I could do absolutely anything. I could even ask my secretary out on a date. Maybe even make her pay for dinner. Anyway, I burned all my fantasy magazines and filed to withdraw my candidacy. Hope you're happy for me, colleague. Wait, what? Wait, what? Withdraw candidacy? I'm sick and tired of this shit. Stop trying to play nice with all the idiots. We spent real time and money on Mike Rybakov, which means he belongs to us. Don't hold back this time, honey. Intimidate him? Ronald Ramsey, representative of the Sprout of Life Eco Movement. Mr. President, after heavy industry, the environment's greatest foe is old farmers. Oh, this isn't actually an old farmer. They absolutely refuse to participate in any green initiatives because they're all Satan's handiwork. So they keep dumping fertilizer made from manure, chalk, and the P word on their crops, just like their grandfathers taught them to. We need to get the old geezers to step aside and let young, environmentally woke farmers take over. We can... The worst voice for this person. We could let elderly farmers cash in their social security earlier. What do you think? Sure. You know, bud, I was feeling kind of spent the other day, so I snorted some face to get a little pick-me-up. Some fella on TV was going on and on about how this is our last chance to invest in cryptocurrency. And it got me thinking, so I went for it. I woke up the next morning and I couldn't believe it. I hit the jackpot. I made $500,000 overnight, bud. Now the press is trying to track down a certain brilliant anonymous investor. In other words, me. But after I came down and started thinking the whole thing through, I totally freaked out. Folks are mining that cryptocurrency with sex toys, bud. I don't really get all the ins and outs, but I'm trying to figure out whether or not I should go brag to the reporters about the whole thing. What do you think, bud? Sure. I just want to see what's going to happen. Investigate the case. Not let Archie Wister interfere with the proceedings. Yeah. Javier de Baca, Congressman for Florida. Mr. President, a very important hearing is currently underway in Washington court. Fred Klein, a former civil servant, is being accused of harassing a female subordinate. The defendant is trying to sue the government, claiming it failed to provide him with conditions necessary to live a successful dating life. If the jury sides with Klein, we are going to have a dangerous precedent on our hands. Why would the jury support him, you ask? We also thought the case was a dud until it turned out Klein has a powerful patron. The harasser's case is being presented by Archie Wister. Additionally, we have reason to suspect the jury is being pressured. The young woman who was obviously against Klein yesterday spent the entire today's session staring at the tips of her toes and is looking frightened. The police found no evidence of foul play, but I have a feeling they weren't looking too closely. How about you send one of your men to keep an eye on the jurors to make sure no one intimidates them? So I need someone tough. Persuasion, though. Maybe Clint? Or Tien? Or Joe? Or reliable Joe. They'll do it. The press made me look like a grade A jackass, bud. Just look at this headline. Vice Pres deep throats crypto dildo. And that isn't even the worst one. They're just jealous. Sorry about this, bud. Let me toss you a few hundred as a make good, okay? It's not bad. Not bad at all. Hold on. I want to check something. How much is this again? 4.7. So if I want to get to 75 and use Sasha, I could pull that out. Oh, what'd she get at? Writing bills, lobbying bills, persuasion, worldwide elite connections. Okay. Deliver the rare wolf. Give the president of South Africa a rare wolf from endangered species. Okay. Buman Marosa, president of South African Republic. Mr. President, I have a small hobby. I am a collector of endangered predators. Some are purchased in zoos. Others are given to me by, how should we put it, grateful contributors. I was certain I had all the canines until I heard about a breed of red wolves in North Carolina. There are less than 200 specimens left in the world, and I would love to have one for my collection. Alas, they are missing even from the black market. You are my only hope. I need a charismatic person who will convince ecological activists that wolves are having a great time in captivity. Or maybe a less charismatic but more resourceful person who will steal them. I will be in your debt. I guess it's going to be convincing. Persuasion, right? And this doesn't require a passport. All reliable Clint. That's okay. He'll be burnt out, but... Give the newly fledged Texan fashionista a reality check. Darling, Mike no longer feels like helping us. He wants a beautiful secretary to be the star of dumb talk shows and apparently to run for the office of the president. It turns out Ribikoff thinks that being a good boy is just an alternative to success and sexual favors. We made a man out of that sniveling weasel. It's time we showed him what happens to the ungrateful boys who bite the hand that feeds them. I don't want to appear bloodthirsty, but it's time we taught Mike another lesson. A lesson of power. How about you send someone who looks menacing can deliver a mean, strong look to the chin. Or hook to the chin. Okay, so not yet. Deal with the head of the Mexican. No. Covert Extraction. To get my son. Okay, I'm not sure if I read this. Mr. President, my dim-witted and overly trusting son has been lured into a terrorist organization. Yeah. We did read it. I don't have anyone for this. Rise Up Canada. Mr. President, the mention of my name in the press has dropped by a third this month alone. If you don't intervene immediately, the Canadian people may well forget their Prime Minister's name. A country that has no remaining problems requires a good shakeup. I only ask one thing, don't overdo it. Strikes, smuggling, illegal fur traders, whatever you want, but no Canadian should get hurt. Feel free to use our diplomatic liner to ferry over some saboteurs. Saboteurs? Man, I need muscle. Would like a cyber thing do? Public attacks? Spreading rumors? Let's try sending Sophie and Andre. I don't know. The pillar of Canadian stability is unshakable, but I can tell you in confidence how to poke a few holes in the monolith of prosperity. Taking a look here. I think this is supposed to be Spark Street in Ottawa. And it's not too bad. It's a city that I live in. Lots of people don't know this, but Canada is a constitutional monarchy, and locals would do anything for the honor of their dear Queen Anne IV. The monarch holds especially strong sway outside the big cities. If Anne were disrespected by anyone from our side of the border, there's bound to be trouble. The second taboo is jokes about Canadian accents. Tell one joke about Canadian English, and you're liable to get a punch in the nose. Last and most importantly, French music. If you go into a club and say you don't like French rays, you'll have a massive fight on your hands. So how are we going to stir up some trouble, Mr. President? One woman from a one-woman picket line. The placard that insults their queen. Spread rumor of an imminent U.S. attack on Canada. Ask a DJ at Toronto nightclub to play country music instead of French rave. Sir, I was able to charm the DJ into switching up the playlist. I had no idea the kind of reaction it would cause. A massive fight immediately broke out in the club, and the DJ was beaten half to death. He's recovering now in intensive care. All the Canadian newspapers are saying that an unidentified American committed an outrageous musical attack, wounding hundreds of Canadians in both the ears and the heart. He didn't want anyone to get hurt. My dear friend, you did it! Look at my face, can you see? I will soon be making a speech about how I'm defending the people of Canada against all external threats. No matter what it takes, thanks to you, my life finally has some meaning. Oh yeah, there's the CBC building. This is actually pretty accurate. So this is a place called Spark Street, and it's like a passenger road. I don't know why I'm missing the I can't think of the term. But it's just like a road that's paved that people walk down. And there is indeed, the CBC is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and there is a headquarters. There's like an office, not the headquarters. I think the headquarters is in Toronto. There is an office, a broadcasting place on Spark Street. So I don't know, they probably Googled some images and like made this out of it. Well done, game. Oh yes, and I've come to the conclusion that my gratitude need not be a one-time thing. Henceforth, you can count on your benevolent neighbor contributing to your charitable fund every month. Yes, I get to write a post too. Live life to its fullest, and you can overcome any obstacle. But the adrenaline-fueled Bobby is struggling to make our lives as dull as possible. It makes America sad. It's gonna be okay. The president will fix everything. Don't forget to like. That one was pretty weak. Are you sure you have nothing else to do? We wish we had a president like that here. Someone who solves problems. Lots for words. Love all. Hopefully we're gonna get some serious ratings here. Actually, no, we're probably gonna lose. Oh yeah, no, we did get a ratings bump. And another 150,000. So recently I've been thinking about dying a nice clean death. I hate it if my loved one's final image of me was my head half blown off or twisted up under the wheels of a bus. I have no idea why. I've never been suicidal, but I know thoughts like this definitely aren't healthy. I could use an appointment with a good shrink, but those cost a fortune. Could you cover some of the costs? Thank you, sir. The therapist told me that I should try to avoid stress until I feel better. Yeah, I know. I know you're stressed. Nikolai Zapad, director of the Zapad Steel Weapons Company. Mr. President, as the CEO of Western Steel, I've done everything in my power to make sure our firearms provide this country with reliable protection both at home and abroad. But now the time has come for me to repay my debt to my homeland, the glorious nation of Brezhnev. I want to start manufacturing firearms. They are in accordance with all NATO standards. Brezhnev-Russian relations aren't going well, and I want the Russians to know that their neighbors are armed. Will you agree? Sure. That seems like a great idea. So let's send Sophie... Wait. I was going to send her on vacation, but maybe I don't have to. God, I can never remember which one's which. Services. Jan needs to go on vacation too. Okay. That's okay. So once again, about 1.5, and we're at 5. Hi, don't ask me why I sound like I'm lying in a cast. You've probably already been told that I was attacked by an admirer who jumped out from behind the bushes while I was taking a walk before I went to bed. I asked you for a guard, but you ignored my request. As usual, though, and don't expect me to feel sorry for you in front of the press. I didn't have anyone to send. All of my muscle left. Ratings are going up gradually. Money's, we're doing okay. We're staying steady. August 2022. At about 6 mil. Nice, we got a boost of 1.8%. Mr. President, Joe decided to watch the timid young woman from the jury. 1 week later, he had undeniable proof that Klein's lawyer is playing dirty. She could be clearly seen being shoved into a car in one picture, being handed a bulging envelope in the other. No wonder the poor thing looked so upset. Of course, the case has been put on hold, all thanks to you. Clint, Mr. President, I realize that convincing ecological activists to sell a rare wolf specimen is an uphill battle. I'm still upset at this failure. Oh well, I suddenly realized I am still missing a Chinese tiger, which calls for an urgent meeting to the Middle Kingdom. Clint disappointed us. That doesn't happen very often. Mr. President, the idea of developing GovChat so people can contact government employees quickly and easily seemed like a no-brainer. But I guess we didn't really think about how it would affect the government employees themselves. A bunch of smartasses started spamming them with dick pics and indecent proposals. Officials all over the country started boycotting the app, and we had to can the project. Mr. President, the first brick of the new Western Steel factory was laid in Brezhnev today. Now your name and that of our company will appear side by side in newspapers all over the world. U.S. President and Western Steel on the front lines of democracy. Sounds good, doesn't it? Mr. President, a lot of the old farmers agreed to start getting their Social Security payments right away. Some of them weren't in great health and others couldn't wait to see the world. Even my stubborn old dad agreed to hang up his rake. Oof. Yeah, things are balancing out though. We're above 75. Mr. President, after one of your Border Patrol officers lost his composure and shot up a rubber boat full of migrants, a series of major confrontations ensued. Now not only our prisoners, but also our hospitals are overcrowded. We're planning to send some of the wounded to your country for treatment. The United States must do something to restore its reputation. As must you. Yes, sir, help! What the fuck? Ooh! Our football-shaped donut was a huge hit, Mr. President. It even busted a few guts. Literally. I'm just joking, of course. But you better believe the coaches and nutritionists are gonna have their work cut out for them burning those calories. The players all took selfies standing next to the massive donut, and it brought us a ton of football fans. You made a contribution to your personal charity as promised. Mr. President, this is my conscience talking, and its voice is louder than anything else I can hear. I just can't come to terms with the concept of doing bad things for a higher purpose, or for the good of America. I know how cheesy it sounds. It's been too long since we did something genuinely kind. Not for the numbers, but just because we can. You can make an anonymous donation to Pure Heart, a children's hospice. How does that sound? Sure. You've been working hard. Thanks, from the kids and from myself. This is a huge load off my mind. Still need some rest though, so I'll be off work for a while. Oh, Joe. Mr. President, I keep thinking about how our last conversation, it wasn't fair for you to deny me a raise. Now I want $832,000. Thank you. I like Joe. Joe's been pretty reliable. Joanna says an incredible heat wave is ravaging the East Coast. Experts are remarking record high demand for drinking water and high power air conditioners. Blair Woodson of Gossips. That's a new publication, isn't it? Have you noticed that former President Feist has been keeping out of the public eye for the past couple weeks? Well, we certainly have. Could it be simply that the major Washington player fled the East Coast heat wave? Should we be expecting hot news from Alaska? Archie Wister says our so-called president is pretending to mess about in international affairs. It's clearly just a ploy. He's only interested in his own gain. Just think how much taxpayer money has been spent on the president's personal flights. Water time. The water went down the wrong pipe. Excuse me. Boss, my grandmother oh, geez. We were very close. And I'll be mourning her all month. Don't expect me at work. I'm sorry to come to you about something so weird, but Tian has been bothering me. He's constantly commenting on my appearance, giving me stupid compliments and winking at me. I'll be honest with you, he's giving me the creeps. Will you fire him? Might have to make a choice between the two of them soon. Buddy, I just got a call from Rich Buckwalter, the media mogul congressman candidate from California. His magazine, Left for Dead, did a lot of damage to Face during your run for office. So this is a classic, the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. He invited you and me to a dinner party at his villa. Ruben Derry, the infernal chef, is cooking so we can talk business while we fill our bellies with all kinds of awesome delicacies. Also, I just learned a couple of hours ago that you're expected for an official visit to Brazil. I'm pretty sure it's all related somehow. Apparently Congressman Buckwalter has had a falling out with the government there. They'll tell you the details when we get there. It's up to you to pick up who we visit first. The dinner party.